Hello, everyone. This is Rick with the Cyber Pro podcast. We have a repeat offender guest on. We're super excited. It is David Rougely. He's the founder and CEO of Pantera Security. He was last with us on episode number 126 in September of 2021, 2 years ago. And at that time, you were talking to us about actionable plans, staying diligent. We have a completely new round of questions for you, David. Super excited to have you back.
Hey, thank Rick. It's a pleasure to be back, and I'm excited to be here.
Perfect. Well, David, let's kick it off right away. What have you been up to since last being on the Cyber Pro podcast?
Rick, it's been a grind every day. Just beating that banner of trying to make everyone aware of the cybersecurity related risks that are out there. As a cybersecurity professional, we're constantly beating that drum of warning, so to speak, and also a battle cry, because I like to position Pantera to be an ally in cyber warfare for small to medium-sized businesses.
Love it. I love the usage of warfare, because I think we're at war, right? I mean, I think we're inundated with alerts and just attacks on the cyber side. With that, how has the cyber landscape changed or evolved over the past few years?
Well, over the past few years, let's think about it. One of the biggest elephants in the room is COVID, right? COVID has changed how we do business, how we operate from our home offices, you name it. So we don't have, so to speak, the traditional electronic security perimeter of our office space or our traditional business, brick and mortar business, right? So everyone moved home, just obliterating the electronic security perimeter. So now you have people with MFA sitting at home, connecting to secure networks with no use of VPN and using residential internet, and not thinking about the ramifications, legal or criminal, that could arise from operating in that manner.
I love it. I love the outlook on it. Speaking of outlooks, are there any emerging trends, technologies, or approaches that you're excited about?
This one is another big topic that everybody's been talking about over the past year. And I'm probably, I've been kind of reserved about talking about it myself, but AI, artificial intelligence, that's a big hot topic right now in terms of making our lives easier, right? But also it's making our lives a little bit more dangerous. We are starting to see, in related to cybersecurity, we're starting to see where threat actors are starting to implement the use of artificial intelligence in creating malicious payloads, and as well as malicious threat packaging. How they create malicious software and things like that. So the emerging threat and emerging technology is both one and the same as it comes to artificial intelligence. I'm sorry.
Love it. I love it. David, I know that you love talking about cybersecurity awareness and training. I'm curious how that emerging technology of AI might be able to help us with awareness and education training for cyber. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I do, Rick. And actually, this also kind of ties into something that we've been working on here at Pantera and our partnership with Microsoft for Startup program. Just to say, in the same manner that that malicious threat actors are using AI to perform attacks, we are developing technology, and which I believe that the whole industry could develop technology to use artificial intelligence to combat that. For us, it's in the spirit of cybersecurity awareness, but also training, and not just on an annual basis. Many in industry, we follow certain cybersecurity frameworks that allows us to determine the frequency of training, and most folks just default to the 1 year of training, right? Well, the threat landscape is evolving every day, monthly even, right? So for us, we're developing technology that incorporates artificial intelligence to strengthen up the training that we give, and hopefully we can increase the frequency of training, from annual to quarterly or even monthly, depending on how sensitive the company's data is and their workforce.
Love it. And congratulations. I saw the post recently on the Founders Hub. So kudos for you for that.
Thanks, Rick. I appreciate it.
For sure. So I'd love to hear if you're able to come up with a real world cybersecurity story and share with us any lessons or takeaways that we can learn from it.
Absolutely. You know, there are a lot of horror stories out there, and some are not able to admit. But I'll tell you of one particular story where ransomware is very real, right? And this particular story had a client that and let me back up just a moment. This is where the trading comes in too, right? You can have, I believe Kevin Mitnick said it, you can have all the, companies spend millions of dollars on all this fancy software and all the fancy products. And trust me, I love that stuff too, but we don't address the weakest link in the security chain, and that is our users, right? So I say that to bring this story in. I had a client that allowed a third party worker from another country into their CRM, and their CRM, as we know, your CRM is where everybody holds their customer data and things like that. And some kind of way around the same time that they hired this third party from a developing country to manage CRM stuff, and a separate account was created that sat there for a whole year. And I found this out doing my investigation. And then, after a whole year later, that created account became active, and it started contacting all of the clients in this particular CRM, acting as if it was my client. And in the email, it was, hey, we're changing some things. We need to update the information. Click on this link so that we can do it. And it was not, in fact, from my client. It was not from their third party person. Where did it come from? The penetration had to come from somewhere, right? So anyway, that email went out to all his particular clients, and folks clicked on that link and submitted information that they probably shouldn't have. And once they figured it out, this particular client, again, this is where training comes in, incident response planning and things of that nature. I didn't get called till 3 days later. I should have been called the first day, because by that time your reputation is at stake. And according to this particular client, they were losing 15 grand per day. So and your reputation, people losing clients and losing 15 grand per day, then that's a big deal. So that's one that we always kind of harp on. Be mindful, right, of the emails that you're getting, and then also be mindful who has access to your systems. And are they using multi-factor authentication? How long do they have to be there? Are you using good identity and access management processes? That makes sense?
Love it. I think that's great. So here's the final fun question for you. In the past, we've asked you what your favorite piece of retro technology was, but now, what is a current piece of technology that makes you smile?
I'm glad you actually, last time it was the record player. I'm still on that. But, my background education is in electrical engineering. So I love to tinker with electrical things. One of my favorites is old analog AM and FM radios. I have one in my possession that makes me smile. It's an old GE radio with the word snooze written on it with no E. It's caps SNOOZ. It may be corny to some, but to me, I find it fascinating.
Love it. David, thank you so much for being on the podcast again.
Hey, Rick, thanks for having me. I've definitely enjoyed this.
Thank you for tuning into the Cyber Pro podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on new podcasts and all of our cool bonus content.